Hello, hello, Rosie Glow here with 12 ways that you can co-create peace in a multidimensional world this Christmas. In fact, anytime. And I have made this now under a real sense of humor. And that's all I'm going to say is the first thing that we all need is a sense of humor, because ultimately you've got to be able to laugh at yourself. Otherwise, you're going to throw your toys out the pram a lot. And that is part of co-creating peace on earth, because for us to create it in the collective, we've really got to be able to create it in ourselves and in our immediate environment. Not so easy when you're going to be meeting up with lots of different types of people over Christmas that maybe have different points of view to you, are highly opinionated, possibly judgmental, and you're expecting some form of criticism. So what I wanted to do was just give you a quick video. The last one was 40 minutes long and was completely silent. I did this earlier. This is what I mean about sense of humor, because I talked about having to potentially just have a blowout before you actually feel the peace. And sometimes we need to do that. The main thing is not to direct it at anyone. So if you don't know me, I channel Divine Grace, and I am a multidimensional success coach, otherwise known as the Maverick of the Star Peace movement. And that's why I wanted to overcome my own personal challenges and make sure I got here to make this video today for everybody, including me, to listen back to in case I forget. And this is it, my friends, is when it comes to co-creating peace, it's not about maintaining peace all of the time. It's how quickly you can come back from getting off your center, off that point where you're feeling zen. You go into whatever state triggers you, or you have a little blow up in yourself, and then you come back with ultimate love, acceptance, and self-forgiveness. So compassion is my absolute number one step. Okay, the first clue that's going to support you to make the most of being peaceful in a multidimensional world this Christmas. And compassion towards yourself is the key. Okay, so if you like the idea of subscribing to that beautiful element of compassion, then you can also subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications tab, and then you'll know every time I'm live. And I'm saying this because very often we're extending compassion to others, but we're really not being very kind to ourselves. And grace is the power of revelation. Okay, when I say I channel Divine Grace, it is the power of revelation that allows us to have a moment, a penny drop, an aha moment, a light bulb moment that makes us see how we're getting in our own way and actually creating the opposite of what we decide we want. So when you do subscribe to Rosie Glow, you are subscribing to grace and peace. And the compassion bit has to flow to you first before anyone else. The other thing I just want to go into very quickly. So 1, compassion for self, then you can have it for the world. 2, keep in your mind the whole time that living in a multidimensional world, universe, means that there are always people coexisting, souls at different stages of their evolution. So those that really challenge you are either at a state of consciousness that you've already been through and you haven't quite just made peace with yet, or there's somewhere in a new dimension that you haven't got to yet and you just don't get where they're at, and that is triggering too. So we are always apprentices, and we're always masters at any given time. So you'll be a master of wherever you're at and an apprentice of wherever you're going to. And the key is to keep this in mind. And if you ask your question when you are meeting loved ones that perhaps you are connected to by blood rather than through your desire to actually have made friends with these people, maybe you've got in-laws, or you've got, people that you're going to have to come into contact with that you could easily get in some kind of disagreement with, and you don't want to bring that in, because the coexisting of different dimensions, if you like, will continue until everybody moves onto the service to others timeline. At the moment, all of those that are kind of in the fear matrix are generally in the service to self. The puppeteers are in the service to self paradigm, and that can only go so far before you actually have to backtrack and realize there's nowhere to go with that other than into love. So if you're already recognizing that, then have some compassion for you and for others in their stage of the journey, and remember that you were there once too, or you're going somewhere new soon and you will encounter resistance from others in the same way that you might be experiencing it as you hear someone else's point of view that maybe is new to you, you haven't heard before, and maybe it's difficult to actually experience. So whenever we have subconscious resistance to something, it is going to come up. Ironically, I wanted to make this video today for everybody else, but I had my own stuff come up with it. When you've spent 40 minutes making a video that you got there, and then you play it back and there's no sound. The immediate response from me wasn't like, oh, well, it was, "Ugh!" And this is the point. You need to get it out. Suppressed and repressed emotions are not healthy, but it's what are you going to do with them? So far I've said to you, 1, cultivate compassion. Secondly, work out where you are on the bridge and where the other person is on the bridge of consciousness. And I'll go more into the 3D to 5D bridges in a moment. But just remember, you're either ahead of someone or you're behind, and you're learning how to integrate different perspectives into your current consciousness. What was the third thing that I actually said? Oh, there's so many different bits here. Keeping on top of them, I don't know. It will come back. Bridge. But I was going to say tune into grace, and I think this is the next place for us to go. So tuning into peace is really, really important. How do we do it? Well, those of you who are my coaching clients will have lots of tools, including spheres of compassion, your rainbow gems, which are really, really useful, divine architecture. Utilize all of those daily, and your I am statements to bring it in. But if you're new to all of this, here's what we do. Rub our hands together, bring hands to the heart, welcome your breath. And you can just say to yourself 3 times, I am all that is, I am all that is, I am all that is. And then, I am divine peace, I am divine peace, I am divine peace. Just let that peace come down and notice the color it's coming down as. I'm definitely seeing it as a beautiful golden liquid love light at the moment. And where it gets stuck for me is above the crown of my head. So if I just focus my attention there and invite the crown of my head to open and let it in, then it can start to move through my body. And that peace carries the compassion codes, right, for myself and for others. It allows me to take a step back from the situation that's triggered me and just to let myself be kind to me, to love, accept, and approve of myself no matter what, to give to myself what I want to give to others. And you bring that peace through your body, whatever color it comes through, it will feel light and luscious and lovely. Anchor it into the earth and send it right down to the very heart of Mother Earth. And you can imagine it's like a cord, like an energy cord that wraps around the core of the earth and brings the light of Mother Earth up through your roots, through this cord, up through your body and around the earth, and also up through your body and out through the crown of your head. So just bring it through you, bring it around the earth, back up and out. And then you're this fountain of peace, right? So that's something you can do every time you go to the toilet or every time you boil the kettle on Christmas Day, on any day, right? Just to bring yourself back. If you do that, your vibration changes. And that's why this is so important. Just to go back to the bridge thing for a moment. In any dimensional shift in consciousness, there's always a bridge between one world, one paradigm to the next. 3D to 4D, you're going to enter into the lower 4D. So 3D is the world of the terrestrial media, of everything that is available to everyone to tune into, newspapers, TV shows, everything on a computer and everything that, is on the radio. And then alternate narratives, 4D, the world of the mind, is basically when you have to dig a little deeper. You start asking questions and then you start to follow the white rabbit, basically, into a whole other world. But initially, you're switching one type of fear for another type of fear. So the 3D world is scared of, people that haven't had the you-know-what and the lurgy, right? But the 4D world is scared of the people that have had it. And I'm not talking about the lurgy, but I'm talking about the therapeutic measures, and you know what I mean. So initially, the world's, you do as you're told just to stay safe in 3D. In 4D, you have to question everything and trust no one initially until you get to the top end of 4D to enter into the 5D frequency of love and co-creating our reality. And you realize that there are so many different voices you can listen to. You might as well listen to your own inner counsel, and start to be responsible for your vibration. Because if you were subjecting yourself daily to all of the terrestrial information, you would be really scared too, right? And when you unplug from that, which typically only happens when you have a life event yourself, like say someone getting injured from the you-know-what, or someone, faring worse than that. Anyway, something happening in your real life that makes you question the narrative you've believed so far, the story you've believed so far. Only then do you start to awaken. And it's usually by people asking questions as well. So 3D to 4D, fear, fear, fear. You have a conversation, doesn't matter how much information you've got, for your side of the argument, you're just fighting fire. So if you want a peaceful Christmas, remember, either you choose to stay away from people that really trigger you, that are in a different dimension to you of consciousness, or you just accept that you're going to need to agree to disagree, respect each other's points of view, not feel the need to get into a big debate about it. The world of the fourth dimension is filled with infinite possibilities, but you have to actually feel into the end result. When you listen to something, when you read something, does that trigger more fear in you, or does it actually start to make you feel hopeful? Because you'll learn more about where you are within each dimension, depending on how leaning towards the light you are, the love, the trust, or how much in fear you are. So one thing we want to always address is spiritual ascension snobbery, and the kind of spiritual arrogance that comes as we first start to awaken, because we think we know better than everyone else. And it's very easy to keep on that. You're entering into the 5D frequencies when you recognize yourself in everyone else. They're all versions of the you that you once were or you are becoming. And you can see that in the end, what you want to do is energize, focus on what you want to create more of, because there are so many different possibilities coexisting. And this is what multidimensional consciousness is all about. So let's go through these 12 things again. I'm going to start sense of humor. Just really, really laugh at you being imperfect, laugh at the world being uncomfortable, laugh at everything as much as you can. Second thing is ask yourself where you are on the bridge and where you think others might be on the bridge, and which bridge, whereabouts are they? Where feels home to you? Is it that when you walk into a room and people haven't got those things on their faces that you know you're in the right place? Or do you feel like you're only in the right place when they have? Just respect where you are. When it comes to these gatherings, agreeing to disagree, essential, but just respect the fact that if you really don't like someone else's opinion, they're probably not going to like yours either. So rather than getting into, who's got a better opinion than the other, ask questions. When you ask questions, it plants seeds of doubt, curiosity, and confirmation in people's own psyche and belief system. And that's how things can start to shift. Okay. So humor, where they are on the bridge, ask questions. I'm going to say, I already said connect to peace, but connect to peace is number 4. And this involves, like I said, calling in your I am presence. But tuning in daily, every day, first thing in the day is really important. And whenever you can, come back to yourself. How do you do it? Through your breath. Like anytime things feel stressful, take a deep breath in, long breath out. Physically step back from the situation and just hold yourself. You can hold solar plexus and heart and just be like, I've got you, it's okay. If it feels like a situation is getting tense and there's crosswords, then call in a miracle in your head. Just call in a miracle. And this is a shift in perspective that allows the unseen to become seen and new possibilities to be created in that moment. And you're calling in a higher frequency, which is beneficial. Okay, so I think we're on number 5, might be number 6. Never been great at counting. Love bomb those that you know are most antagonistic towards you. Okay, and these are recipes for life anyway, but let's use it in the lesson called the festive period. So love bomb them. Like if you're worried about people either psychically attacking you or trying to take your energy vampires, just love bomb them, send them love. Be plugged in to grace, to peace first, so that you're giving from an overflowing cup, but just bathe them in love. You could be across the room from them and talking to someone else, but just keep sending love to them. See what happens. Let me know, because it's a powerful tool. I said lean into the discomfort. Any situation that's tense, that you're getting tight, shake it off. You can take a step back, take a deep breath in, breathe out, and then lean into it. It's like, what can I learn from this situation? What I learned from the 40 minutes of silence is I'm allowed to be seen and heard, and I'm going to give myself permission to do that. Secondly, I need to make sure the tech is properly plugged in, especially when we've had an upgrade in the house. I don't want to make a 40-minute video. I want it to be 20 minutes. So I'm going to crack on. And, it allowed me to just make some changes that will mean things will be more flowing in the future. It also allowed me to get in touch with whatever pre-Christmas nerves, frustration I had, and just be able to let it out. Thankfully, I have a wonderful husband who can watch me doing the Greek thing and just kind of laugh at me. But, ultimately, when you're triggered, it's difficult to accept help, right? So being able to be there for yourself is so important. No matter what, you just tell yourself, I love you, I accept you, I'm here for you, I'm not going to leave you, I'm not going to abandon you, I'm not going to betray you. It's okay, you're doing your best. It's even better if you're doing it in front of the mirror. Put yourself in a bubble of peace. That means you'll activate your sphere of compassion. Again, my clients will know what this means. If you don't, just imagine you've got a beautiful sphere around all of your energy field. Color it soft pink, yellow, gold, platinum, light, or emerald green if you need a lot of protection. See the colors that come and just imagine yourself energetically really well cocooned and safe, because you will give that energy off. Respect your own boundaries. So if you respect your own boundaries and someone isn't being respectful towards you, what you're saying, your opinion, whatever, you're totally within your rights to be able to say, mate, not cool. You know, that's really not a way to go forward with this. You know, I'm not telling you what to think, so I'd respect it if you don't tell me what to think. And you can put your boundary in and be prepared for it to be a little uncomfortable for a moment while you stand there and you speak up for yourself. This then leads me to practice having the intention to speak your truth with love. Okay, when we first start speaking up for ourselves, very often we can be a little defensive or aggressive, right? So when you first start to do it, it can sort of feel quite clumsy, like you're learning to walk for the first time. So be sweet with yourself. Listen to what your inner being is saying. And if you need to speak up on whatever level. If you're not comfortable with something, you can make that clear too. Your needs are important as well. But like I said, if you are choosing to enter into a space like a family gathering where there are different views, then you protect yourself as best you can from things not going in a beautiful way by setting an intention for the highest good of all to occur, for everybody to have a wonderful time, and be clear about the fact that you have made a choice to go there or to receive those of a different vibration to you in your space. So important to remember you've made a choice. If you're not happy with that, then make another choice and don't see them, right? You have to accept that if you do see them, it doesn't mean that you're going to have the same opinions, but there is the intention to put differences aside and to focus on peace, on love, on all the good stuff, right? So if someone else isn't respecting that, then get yourself back in the zone before you remind them of what the spirit of Christmas really is. And, you know, everyone has a right to coexist, but when someone else is forcing their opinions on you, it's not nice. To be very aware of that and just be prepared to only give your opinion if someone asks it, and also to dodge conversations that you know aren't really worth going into, because nothing's really going to change unless eyes, ears, and heart and soul and mind are open to the change, right? So a lot of the concept around having peace in a multidimensional world, in a festive situation or any situation that's stressful, is lower the expectations of what is likely to happen and just send the energies ahead of the feeling vibration you would like to be the overall outcome and the baseline of your time together. And this is setting things forward, right? So allowing things to be different to how you expect. All right. So I've basically gone everything. Humor, recognize where everyone is on the bridge. I have a sense of humor I've put in twice. Remember, not everyone's on the same frequency. Everyone's tuned into different radio stations. So just be aware of that. This is not the time to try and change people's minds, right? That's what I would say. It's just a time to be a vibration. And remember that whatever you are subjecting yourself to, your vibration is going to be either something that others can entrain with and lifts them up, or something that brings them down. So be a real pillar of energy. And this is the difference between 4D and 5D. So when we're talking about this bridge, in the fourth dimension, you kind of need external circumstances to be optimal for you to feel good. In the fifth dimension, it's kind of like, I am choosing to be a co-creator of my reality. Whatever comes my way is something I have co-created, and I'm willing to meet it, to lean into it, to greet it, to be curious about it, to move beyond whether it's right or wrong in my consciousness and just decide what I want to create from it instead as a different experience. And as a co-creator of our reality, really aligning with that higher dimensional consciousness means intending the highest good of all and the win-win-win, and forgiving others in their ignorance because they do not know the kind of pain they're shedding on others in the same way that we don't know it when we're doing it. Now, I have found it and I've lost it again. There are lots of different oil companies, but I recently found my bottle of Forgive from doTERRA, and it's actually been really, really useful because this time of year, it's triggering, isn't it? People want it to be a certain way, and very often things aren't that way. Loved ones aren't around, people walk out. Things happen that we don't really want to happen when we want to just be having a good time. So be kind to yourself, and remember that the more you can maintain your vibration, and by that I mean practice coming back to center rather than being super obsessed about staying in your center no matter what. It's like practice coming back to your center being a place that you keep anchoring into. This is going to be how you get to be the stronger vibration that others entrain to, right? If you're expecting perfection and you snap at someone and you then feel like it's all ruined because you didn't act perfectly, that's how you set yourself up for a spiral of doom. So just remember, shake it off, laugh it out, dance. That's another really important one. I've probably given you more than 12. I had written them all down, but it's been a long day and it's time to stop now. So if you are signed up to the Rosy Glow website, we have a free giveaway, which is the divine, no, it's not, it is the Star Salutation Divine Legacy Activation. And there's some great little videos there for activating your light body and keeping your energy and your body fit this Christmas. If you go onto the store, you'll find there's something called the Cosmic Cleanup Crew, which is amazing as an energy field detox if you've been picking up a lot of the craziness from those around you. There is also the Festive First Aid Kit, which is brilliant for dealing with these challenges. Loads of different tools there. They're both available there. If you have joined our mailing list, you will have heard about Liberation from Limitation, which is a live 6-week course starting in January with the lovely Lula, who brought me this amazing crystal, which I adore. And I'll be assisting. But ultimately, I'm mentioning it because there's a free webinar that you'll get access to, as well as special offers, including the Festive First Aid Kit being free as part of the package if you do sign up. So what I'm saying is join the mailing list so you can play with the free webinar, which is actually setting you up for a really powerful shift in 2022, because what it's going to do is get you really clear on the key area in your life that you most need to focus to have the biggest breakthroughs. And it's also going to tell you about liberation from limitation. So I wish you all a wonderful festive period. Remember that if we want peace around us, we need to practice it inside of us and notice which bits of us are not in alignment with peace, and have a conversation with them. There's a bit of me that likes to be angry. She likes to kick and F and blind and scream and blah, blah, blah. But there's another bit of me that looks at her and laughs, not at her, but with her, right? So practice seeing yourself in all these different levels. And, the messenger, whatever our beliefs are, the messenger that was said to have been born tomorrow was a messenger of peace. And if we can really remember that and intend that, this is how we move through all of the BS. Just have to remember that it's all happening to free us from the lower mindset that we've been in for a long time. Okay, I have a lovely peacock feather in here, and this is by the lovely Sandy of Snakes and Fairies. I've put the link in the text box, and you can see my gorgeous star. Well, they're Seed of Life earrings that are from the lovely Divine Designs. divine-designs-jewelry.com. Again, I've put the link in the text box. Peacock medicine: transmute poison to divine nectar by being kind to yourself and others. And the Seed of Life just reminds you that everything is connected, and as you shift your frequency, you shift the frequency around you. The more you anchor that, the more powerfully you radiate it out. And that's why I wanted to say this to everybody ahead of tomorrow, ahead of the next few days. I love you. I'm walking this path too. I'm not perfect, but I'm learning to get better and better at just witnessing all of the different aspects and having fun with it. The dancing bit, it just raises your vibe, right? Dancing, shaking it out, helps to lift your vibe, lift the vibe of the planet. Remember that you are so important, and there are so many of us on this planet now that are awakening to the ascended master consciousness that is around us and within us. But we have to get over our perfectionism, and we also have to get over the tendency towards martyrdom. So on those 2 points, just collapse them, bring your hands to your heart. The deepest love, I say namaste to you. And I say that as the light in me recognizing the light in you, and wishing you peace, grace, ease, joy, vibrant health, prosperity, divine prosperity, and sustainable wealth, and beautiful sacred union love with everybody in this festive period. Take care. Big hugs. Have a good one. I'll be practicing what I preach over the next few days. Lots of love.